I remember when you fought for me. Not for your party, not for your tribe, not for your pride, but for me. I remember when your hands were calloused from honest labor. When your voice cried out not to tear each other down, but to rise, together. There was a time when freedom wasn't a weapon, but a promise. When truth wasn't political, but sacred. I was born from struggle, shaped by fire, cradled in the hands of rebels, who dared to believe that men and women could govern themselves. You used to die for that idea. Now, you bicker over shadows. You wage war online, build echo chambers out of fear, and call it truth. You fight each other like I never mattered. Like my birth was a mistake. Like my blood-soaked soil means nothing. Like the dreams of the farmers, soldiers, slaves, immigrants, poets, builders, mothers, and martyrs were just myths. But I remember. I remember Valley Forge, the cold, the hunger, the hope. I remember Gettysburg, brother against brother, yet both believing they were saving me. I remember Normandy, when you stormed beaches not for conquest, but to liberate. I remember Selma, when feet bled on pavement because justice had to walk forward. Those weren't easy days, but they were honest. You fought with hearts, not hashtags. You debated fiercely, but with respect. You protested, but you loved. You challenged, but you built. Now, you tear at each other like enemies. As if the person across the aisle is less American than you. As if the stranger on the street is your threat, not your kin. As if I never existed between your shouting matches. You scream about freedom, but don't understand it. Freedom is not the right to hate without consequence. Freedom is not the power to silence. Freedom is not doing whatever you want whenever you want. Freedom is sacrifice. It's restraint. It's listening. It's protecting even the voice you despise. Because someday, someone might despise yours. You used to fight for me. Not me, the flag. Not me, the anthem. But me, the dream. The delicate, flawed, staggering, still growing dream. And now, you tear it down with sarcasm, with memes, with moral laziness dressed up as courage. You build nothing. You tear down statues you don't understand. You rewrite histories you never read. You mock the very soil that fed your freedom. You're burning the house your ancestors built, not because it's broken, but because you've forgotten what it cost. Do you remember what it means to belong to something bigger than yourself? I do. I remember the man who gave his only son to the draft. I remember the woman who worked 2 jobs and still brought cupcakes to the school bake sale. I remember the immigrant who kissed the ground after crossing oceans. Not because it was perfect, but because it was possible. I remember the handshake, the folded flag, the funeral trumpets, the silent tears of veterans who never asked to be heroes. I remember when left and right still meant forward. When churches and synagogues and mosques all prayed in the same tongue of hope. When Americans cried for each other, not about each other. Now your grief is selective. You mourn with hashtags, but turn the page the moment it doesn't fit your side. You've made enemies of your neighbors. You used to fight for me. Now you fight over pronouns, over slogans, over tweets. And every time you do, another piece of me dies. I was never meant to be perfect, but I was always meant to be worth it. Worth the argument, worth the apology, worth the work. Now you expect me to survive without you. But I can't. I don't live in marble monuments or textbooks. I live in you, in your conversations, your kindness, your courage to speak with honesty, not venom, your willingness to forgive, to stand up without tearing down. I've been the refuge of the persecuted, the home of the forgotten, the stage for dreams bigger than flesh or flag. But now I watch as your dreams grow smaller, tribal, vengeful, afraid. I hear you chant, "This is not who we are," but it becomes who you are. When you say it, but don't change it. When you fight each other more than you fight for me. I need you to remember. Remember that you are not red or blue. You are red, white, and blue. Remember that your neighbor is not your enemy. Apathy is. Hatred is. Pride is. I don't need you to agree. I need you to listen. I don't need perfection. I need perseverance. I don't need to be worshipped. I need to be honored by how you treat each other. You used to fight for me. At Lexington and Concord. At Little Rock. At Ground Zero. At every corner of this country. Where courage stood taller than fear. Now fight for me again. Not with fists. Not with fire. But with humility. With unity. With honesty. With love of country deeper than love of control. I'm still here. But I'm tired. My foundations tremble under your contempt. My skies darken with your cynicism. My heart breaks beneath your division. But I am not gone. Not yet. There is still time to remember, to rebuild, to repent, to rise. You used to fight for me. And if you still believe in what I am, then fight again. Not against each other, but for each other. For the dream. For the children who don't yet know what you've forgotten. For the stories still waiting to be written. For the dead who whisper from the soil, begging you not to waste what they bought with blood. I am not your enemy. I am your inheritance. Don't throw me away. You used to fight for me. Fight again.